Okay, we are here.
Is this Daniel?
Daniel is always here, and this is also the Imperials.
Okay. Well, hello, Imperials.
Hello.
I do have some questions to follow up from the last video that we did, and it happened to be with the Imperials as well. So this happens to work out perfect. But in the last channeling, you mentioned longevity, the life will be extended longer. And I just wanted to get a little bit more information by what you meant by that. You said that we will live longer than our ancestors, and I wanted to get like an idea of like how much longer, and will we look younger, or we'll just feel younger but look, we'll still age but look and feel younger, anything like that?
And you are referring to the new vibrations that are coming in, correct? The new
Yes.
frequencies and the upgrades that we have been talking about, and how that is affecting the human form.
Yes, correct.
So as long as you are in these human bodies and these frequencies are coming in, and you are moving those into the cellular structure and bringing it into the DNA, you will start to notice that, yes, you are feeling younger and healthier. You could find yourself aging backwards, so to speak, I believe is how you're asking that. Will we look younger? You
Yes.
could find yourself feeling younger and looking younger as the skin and the cells start to reform. Some people will experience that, but only to some degree. So if you are somebody that is, say, in your 80s or 90s, and you're thinking, yay, I get to look like a 40-year-old again, maybe not so much, but you will probably maintain a lot of the imagery that you have. The skin may just be a little tighter and firmer on the face or on the body. You may feel the muscle structure coming back. You may rejuvenate some of those things that break down over the years. The organs and everything else will start to restore themselves. That hopefully will answer the youthful appearance. Yes, you will age backwards to some degree. As far as the longevity of the lifespan, again, you must take care of the body to have that longevity, but we do see that the years could continue well beyond what you are used to seeing happen at this time. And at this time, you are seeing people living well into their 90s and even past 100 at this time. So imagine yourselves being able to stay more youthful, more energized, more mobile, and living beyond that. Maybe in your lifetime, you'll see life expectancy to be 130, 150, if you are looking for numbers.
Yes.
And then the next generation and the next generation. It's about 3 generations out before they will start seeing that reaching even higher numbers, so to speak, and moving into what possibly could be into a number like 200 years old. This is definitely going to be advanced when people reach those numbers.
Okay, thank you for the information. And is this because our DNA is being upgraded? Is that what is causing it for us to live longer?
There are many things at play with this, but yes, the DNA is being upgraded. The cells are being rejuvenated and restored. The frequencies of the health are coming in. We talked about the new frequency waves that are coming in that are helping people to move past ailments. Lots of people right now are experiencing flu bug, cold symptoms, congestion, lots of things coming up. The body is pushing out all this old energy that isn't being utilized or is not in the highest good for the body at this time. A lot of people are purging. This is a side effect of these new energies coming in. People that wouldn't normally get sick are finding themselves with these symptoms as well. And we just say to you to do your best to take care of your body in this time. You are releasing and purging out old, the old cells, the old memories, the old things that do not need to be within your physical structure anymore. And as we were saying, do your work, clean those old energies out, because the waves will be getting stronger and stronger. So we do ask for all of those who are experiencing symptoms to do their best to work through the symptoms and to release and find where they are in resistance and release and allow for them to move the energy out, and it will go much, much quicker.
Thank you. You kind of also answered one of my questions as well. And it does lead me to another question of, in the previous video or channeling, you mentioned that some people will feel tired and some people will feel energized. Why would some people feel tired and why would some people feel energized?
This is a good question.
Thank you.
So the question is, why are some people experiencing being tired and some people are experiencing being energized?
Yes.
And the fun thing about this is the person that is feeling tired this go around may be the one that was energized in the last one, or maybe energized in the next wave. And it just depends on what it is that is being activated in that individual at that time. And so the energy as it moves in, if the body has a lot to adjust to, it may feel the need to rest and just acclimate to the energy and the wave and the frequency that is coming in. And the ones that are feeling energized, they are definitely processing this in a different way, and they are accessing a different, maybe a higher frequency. There's, again, we get into these convoluted ways of, oh, do we want to go into all of this? Okay, so moving out some of the lower vibrational energies may make you feel anchored and grounded and feeling very relaxed and calm and wanting to rest. And then moving into some of those higher frequencies may have you feeling out of body and also wanting to rest. See, it's confusing. And it can go the other way around as well. It just really depends on how the person is bringing in the energy. So to not confuse you, as we already probably have, it is going to be an individual journey. This one over here, she has been she's had days where she starts off so energized, and then, let's say a different or new wave comes in later on in the day, and all of a sudden all she wants to do is crash on the couch, and that is all within the same day. So some people may be experiencing that, where they start off really tired and then they end up really jazzed, or they start off really jazzed and end up really tired. Or one day is this way and one day is that way. There really is no way to tell you how you're going to respond to the energy. Just know that the same frequency that caused you to be tired today may cause you to be energized tomorrow, depending on where you are at with acclimating to that frequency. It is how the cells are responding. It's how your body is responding. And most often you will need to rest to move this energy in. So it is very common for people to start off feeling very energized and then take a nap in the middle of the day. And you all know that you're listening right now and you're all going, oh yes, I've been feeling like taking a nap. Come 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm ready for that nap. And once you take that nap, if you are in a position where you can allow yourself to take the 15, 20-minute nap, then you're energized again and you're ready to go. So it is something that we do ask everyone, honor your body if you can and take the nap, or honor your body and go out and take the walk and move through some of that energy. There is no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong way for it to come in and affect you. We've seen people come in with lots of different symptoms. There's a lot of different symptoms going on right now. Headaches, vision. How many people have been experiencing their vision being a little bit off or blurry, or you blink your eyes a lot because you're trying to get them to focus? And the throat, feeling the throat moving in and out when you're talking, feeling almost hoarse, and then it comes back. There is the heart flutter. People are experiencing the heart flutter. Appetite change, weight gain, weight loss, all kinds of different things going on for all kinds of different people. Your digestion may be a little different as well, or your appetite may be changing for the kinds of foods that you want to eat. A lot of different things going on depending on where you're at.
Interesting. So like if someone's sick, it's just that's their way of the body trying to release some of the old energy. Even though they might think they have the flu, it could be something else, but they think they have the flu.
There are a lot of people experiencing it. It could be the flu. It could be considered the flu, or they are bringing that into their system and purging out the old physical, if we want to say, the physical cellular structure of things, the coughing, the sneezing, the headaches, the fevers. They're just moving out old energy with the symptoms. So the flu is serving a purpose, is more of what we would say. We don't want to tell you, no, you don't have the flu. If you are sick, go to a doctor. We do not ever want to influence you in that way. But what we are saying is it is serving a purpose that is helping you to move out old energy. Much like if you ate food that was not good for you and you end up with food poisoning and your body wants to purge that out. You are purging out old things, old parts of you, rather it is cellular, rather it is more on a, you're having troubles finding the right words. There is a lot of different ways to purge things for people, and a lot of times when people get ill, it is because their energy and their vibration is low, and then that vibration of the illness can move in. And what happens is if somebody is moving through old memories, old relationships, old jobs, old things that aren't serving them anymore, they just cannot have the energy for it anymore, and it brings their energy low. This brings in the symptoms. And the symptoms are helping them to purge it out and take the break from the thing that is no longer serving them, whether it be the job or the relationship or whatever it is. And then they give themselves permission to take the break or give themselves permission to take care of themselves. This works much the same way. It is helping you to see where to go next, giving you that break from the thing that isn't working so that you can restructure, reframe, and start looking towards doing something that is more positive with your life. So take that time to think about what it is that you would like or you desire and start creating that. The universe is here to support you.
Okay. Before I ask my next question, I just wanted to confirm one more thing. The energy that's coming around the August timeframe, around that timeframe, is that considered the event energy?
No, this will not be the event energy.
Okay.
All of it is the event energy.
Okay.
But it is not the event that you are speaking of. I believe you are asking if that is when the realities of 3D and 5D break apart.
That, or when the higher level of energy comes through, the next higher strong wave of energy.
It will be a stronger wave of energy. It will. That is why we ask you to be ready. Okay. It is a stronger wave of energy, and it will be followed by other waves that are increasing in their frequency. We will look at this just a little bit more for you to see if we can give you a better answer.
Okay.
There will be the one that comes in August, and it will come in and it will be, we have talked about this. It can be intense if there is still a lot of work for you to do, or it can be, you can feel like everything in your life is starting to fall into place if it hasn't already been doing that. The one that comes in right after that will be a little softer energy. It'll almost feel like the image in our our little subject's mind here is like floating on a pool on a little water floaty and just relaxing. It feels very smooth. And then there will be another one that comes in that's a little bit stronger and then a little bit stronger. It's almost like you get whammied, and then it's kind of like like you would treat somebody that's got a flu. You're like, are you okay? That energy comes in, and then you start feeling a little bit better, and it can come in a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger as you're building up your strength. And so it is almost a ribbon effect of the big rock hits the pond and creates this ripple, and the ripple is little waves, and then they get to be bigger and bigger as they reach the shore, right? This is kind of what happens. We drop the big rock in the pond, and then the little ripples, and then it grows, the ripples get bigger and bigger and move out. And so it is creating an effect like that. And then the next, there will be stronger waves that come in, but it'll be a little ways out there. We do not need to talk about these stronger waves that are coming until we are ready for that.
Okay. Well, this will lead me to my next question. On another video, someone mentioned that 2012 is kind of like when the process started to begin, where we started to enter in a new phase, and that's when these new energies started to come through. And I just wanted to get your perspective on that, if that sounds about right, when 2012 came around, that this is when the energy started, coming through with the pond.
The energies, the frequencies, and the codes and the upgrades. I just look for the right way to answer this for you. The 2012 activated. We talked about timelines at one point, and there's many different timelines. So we are making sure that we are getting the correct information for you, because 2012 spun off a few different timelines, and there are many energies working at getting the timelines all linked together to be in one high vibrational timeline. We want to say that there are, like, from what we can see here, there are 3 vibrational timelines that we would like to merge into, moving these into one big, wonderful vibrational timeline. And when you mentioned 2012, we kind of look at this as the starting point for taking these 3 different possible outcomes and bringing them into the one big, wonderful outcome. It is funny the way that they are showing this for us, the way it is coming up in the mind of this one. We are seeing the Mayan calendar platform, and like this beam of light is coming into this Mayan calendar and setting off this new journey. Because as many of you know, that Mayan calendar ended in December of 2012. Are we correct with that? December? I believe that is right. And then it set off this new energy, this new journey or venture, so to speak, and bringing in new ways of bringing in the awakening. So yes, I think you were asking, is this the starting point? And it was the starting point for bringing in new waves of awakening, new waves of ascension into the earth realm. And of course, everyone has most likely heard that this was already supposed to have happened, and then we extended it to try to bring more people, more souls, more of the humankind into this ascension. And this is accurate. There has been an extension. It seems like a very long period to those of you who have been down here doing the groundwork, for the volunteers who have been here to create this awakening. And many of you that are listening, you may have noticed that if you are part of that first wave, you have been starting to get reassigned. So the things that you were doing that felt important to you now kind of seem to be falling away, and you are finding yourself being drawn to wanting to know your new purpose, or I feel like I could be doing more, and wanting to step into something new. And you are being activated in that new journey. And a lot of you are watching this ascension video right now because you are ready to be activated, or you have started that new journey and you are excited about bringing this stage of the awakening into the planet. This is a very exciting time. And that was not always originally in the plan, but this is a very exciting stage of the awakening, and a lot of the volunteers have been reassigned to this stage of it. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that was a great answer. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of good information with that one. So the energy wave that's in August, that's not the event. So the event is considered further down the line, a few more years.
We laugh at the idea of the event. It is all the event. It is all the event.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And
so we're in the event right now.
We are in the event. And it is a glorious time to be in the event because there are so many that are being activated and coming forward right now. And it is very exciting to watch this happen and to see you as the humans having this experience, going into the awakening and realizing who you truly are, and coming into your awakening, into your gifts, into your abilities, and stepping into that and having the courage to do so. And we say thank you for those that are doing that. And thank you to those who are watching the videos and being open and being ready to step into whatever role it is that you are being called to. This is a beautiful time to be in the ascension.
If you don't mind me asking, when did the event start? If it was in 2012, if you happen to know that information.
This again is a very convoluted question.
Deals with timelines.
We experience time differently. And so when you ask time questions, it is a little bit tricky for us to put this together. And there are multiple realities that we are playing with at the same time, which is also making this very tricky to put together for you.
I could try to ask it different. Was there a certain thing that happened that triggered the event?
The event was triggered when mankind started getting so destructive that it was a detriment to not only mankind, but the earth or the planet itself. And that is truly when you started seeing the event as you speak. You have always been watched. You have always been followed with these different events taking place on the planet. And there's been many cycles of the planet going through a reset, so to speak. And we know that this has been spoken about already, about the planet going through these cycles, and that this is the time that we cannot afford to go through another cycle. It is time to ascend. And what a beautiful planet was to call on the volunteers, and what brave souls to volunteer and come into this reality to help that ascension process actually find its way to success. And that is when you experienced what you call the first wave of volunteers. There are many volunteers. Some of them are in their 80s at this time. There could even be a select few that came in before that and would be in their 90s, and many years to follow. Everyone falling in after that has been falling in the footsteps of the first wave, as you call them. But if you want to go back even further, you have all of these spiritual people that now have churches around them. You have your Jesus Ascension Master. You have Buddha Ascension Master. There are many ways that you could look at that. When did this start? And you have had many teachers come in throughout the thousands of years on the planet. But what we are talking about is this ascension wave. This true volunteers are coming in, and they're starting this wave of ascension, and There are so many that want and love this planet so bad that they want this to move into that ascension and have come here to help. And the awakening around this is a beautiful thing to witness from where we come from.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you mention ascension and this and so on, this is talking about the 5D, descent to the 5D realm.
Yes, this would be the ascension into the fifth dimensional frequency vibration. Yes.
Okay. Has the Earth or any sections of the Earth ever been 5D before in the past, by any chance? Even if you had to go back 20,000, 50,000 years? Or has it always been? The reason why I ask, because some of the stuff that they say is going to happen when we had the 5D Earth, some of the stuff sounds familiar of the time of Atlantis. And that's why I was asking if there's any similarities to that.
We are looking at that for you. The way to answer that, we keep seeing Atlantis as being part of this reality, but existing at a different dimension.
Okay. And
so when we look at this dimension that is playing out right now, this timeline that the two of you are speaking in, this reality has not reached the fifth dimension.
Mm-hmm.
That is not to say that there isn't realities playing out in the same planet that have reached the fifth dimension. So this is, again, these are these tricky questions that it is hard to explain, that part of the reality of Earth has, yes, made it to the fifth dimension over the many, many, many years that it has existed. It's just like as this group of beings is raising the vibration to the fifth dimension, there's still a group that is not. And you are still existing in the same planet, just in different dimensions as we speak. That is happening. That has happened before, yes. The third dimensional version of the Earth has not reached the fifth dimension yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Has Atlantis ever been part of the fourth dimension or fifth dimension?
Yes. Yes, we see it much like what you are experiencing now, as it would shift. It would shift between the two dimensions. We would even say that it would be. There were some that would make it even to the sixth dimension with the Atlantean.
That was going to be one of my questions. That's interesting. So Atlantis at one time, depending on certain areas, certain time frames, that was fifth dimension, fourth dimension, or higher at certain time frames.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. You mentioned the sixth dimension. If you don't mind me asking, what is that like, being in the sixth dimension? Is that physical bodies, or is that above?
No, this would be out of, we want to use the word pixelated body. You would have the pixelated body. Your body would start to move out of the vibration of a physical, and it starts to do that even in the fifth dimension. You would be able to raise that vibration enough in the fifth dimension to move out of a physical reality. And we have talked about the teleportation and being able to do things that you cannot do in a third dimension, in that fifth dimensional reality. And that is when you are moving that fifth dimension into the sixth and above. that is something you can achieve. These would appear to be more of a spiritually based experience for you. So moving yourself out of a physical body, out of a physical experience, and just being in the realm of energy and being in the experience of consciousness. So some people like to play out in the world of consciousness and raise their vibration and their consciousness to these levels. And when you are in a fifth dimensional reality, raising yourself to a sixth dimension, this would be how you would do it. Much like those here on Earth, when they raise their vibration up, they oftentimes will go into a meditation to do that, to raise their vibration into these other realms. You are doing it here. You are doing it in this reality, but you are leaving the physical body and going into the spiritual body, and you are moving through those dimensions in such a form. And that is how you would do it from the fifth dimension as well. Now, if you were to leave your fifth dimensional body through death, and then reincarnate on one of these other dimensions, you would find yourself existing in a much different form, and possibly even interpret that as a physical form of some nature in that realm. But that is not how you would experience it when you raise your vibration from the fifth dimension. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Which leads me to the next question, because I didn't think we were going to get this far, but how many dimensions do you see? Well, not see, but how many dimensions do they have? I know there's many dimensions, but I just wanted to get your opinion on that, your thoughts.
We want you to remember that there are infinite possibilities and infinite realities even. For each person on here, there is a different reality. For each soul and consciousness that exists, there is a different reality. So when we are talking about the dimensions, there are many, many dimensions that you can raise your vibration to or have an experience from. And you may, let's just keep it into this more simple form of the earth experience and the dimensions that you could be playing with here from the human experience. We are asking another source, what is the highest dimension achieved so far in the human experience?
That's an interesting question.
We want to come back with the number 19, the 19th dimension. So somebody has been able to achieve the 19th dimension out-of-body experience. We are not sure that they would have come back to their body. Pretty high. We would be curious ourselves to find out more about that, but this is a very high dimension. There are many who focus and dedicate their entire lives to being in a meditative state and raising their vibration and moving through the dimensions. We do say to you, though, that that is not the most exciting thing that you can do while you're in this human experience. It may seem fun because it gives you a completely different experience, but we invite you to play with your own world and your own realm, where you raise your vibration enough to move into remote viewing and traveling among your own planet and moving into other dimensions, other timelines, other realities, to maybe explore how you live life in those dimensions and those realities and those timelines. Maybe play around in your own backyard for a little bit before you start raising those dimensions up into these other higher vibrations, as you might call them. Because as you remember, or maybe you remember, we talk about it like a piano keyboard. Each one of those keys plays a different tune, but none of them are better than the other. They are all in a straight line across the keyboard, and you are just playing a different pitch. So it is not as if one is better than the other or higher than the other, even though we say higher frequency, it implies that that is better, but that may not be the case. So have fun in your own realities. And yes, we would like to see you move out of the duality of the third dimension and into something more pleasing in the fifth dimension. That is very fun. So play with that and let that be your focus.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the answer. I appreciate you taking the time to answer that. So,
Mhm.
getting back to the 5D Earth and so on, someone had a question, and this was pretty interesting. But what about karma? Like the people that develop karma, or from past lives, or in this lifetime, what happens to that karma when later on with the 5D Earth?
There is no karma in the 5D Earth. This is why you are going through the purge. You have to forgive yourself, forgive others. And when you are able to achieve that, when you find that, how do we say this? Everything around you is your mirror to you. So if you are finding that something is coming in that is displeasing, it is always our advice to go inward and to find, why is this displeasing to you? And find it where you need to forgive yourself or forgive others in this situation, so that you can eliminate the mirror. This is how you reach those higher vibrations, as you release yourself from the chains that bind you, so to speak, from the mud that you are trudging through to get through life. There are things that, those struggles, those burdens that you are playing through, that you are moving through, those things that are being mirrored to you through your reality. As you start releasing and forgiving, and usually it is just yourself that you need to forgive. And we say this to you: when you have completely forgiven yourself, when you completely forgive yourself, there will be nothing negative for the world to mirror back to you. And that is when you'll start to notice that your world is changing. So when there is something happening that is discomforting to you, that is upsetting to you, that makes you angry or frustrated, always look within. Where do I need to forgive? Where do I need to let this go? It is the universe's gift to you when that person is irritating you so badly. It is the universe's gift to you when something isn't working out and you are finding yourself frustrated or angry. Look within so that you can find where it is you need to be forgiven, forgive yourself, forgive others. When you release this, there is nothing in your vibration that needs to mirror back to you the discomfort anymore. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Yes,
that
it
is
does.
when you move into that fifth dimension, you have already done that work, and there will be no more karma to be mirrored back to you.
Interesting. Interesting. Now this one is going to be pretty tricky for me to answer this question, but it deals with, and it kind of goes along with previous in another channeling. You mentioned that we're going to be more connected. The truth of our feelings is going to be more connected. How feelings will be more connected. Like it'll be harder for us to lie. It'll be harder for us to hide our feelings and so on. And I do remember in one of Dolores Cannon's books, she asked about systems, and then she's asked about what was the first system to be broken up, and they said it was politics. And I just wanted to know, does this have anything to do with the new energy that's coming in August, with the higher vibrations of energy, with all this going on with the politics, with the truth and forgiveness and people owning their truth and so on?
People will be hearing a lot of things through the political arenas that will be very upsetting. Is this what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes. They will be hearing a lot of things. A lot of things will be coming out into the open, and it will be very upsetting. And yes, there will be a lot of processing and a lot of healing that needs to happen through the information that will be told, the truths that will be exposed, the realities of what has been really going on. And prepare yourselves now to be ready to forgive some of this, as you need to know that some of the players, some of the people involved in this, some of the ones that have been the victims of violence, the victims of horrible things that are going to be exposed. Remember, that those people, those souls, came in to help bring that exposure. They came in to help bring this to the light. They played that role for you. They played that role for all of us. So let's send them love, and let's send them our gratitude for the role that they played to bring this out to the open. And let's send the forgiveness. Well, let's send the forgiveness for the judgment that we carry on those things that happen. And let's send the forgiveness for those that carried out those acts, the ones that did the wrongdoings. And it will be important, and it will be very difficult. We do understand the difficulty, which is why, yes, this August wave will come in to help with the healing. And
Interesting.
it will be part of that. And that is why we say the following ripples will be the softer ones. You know, there may be this harsh upheaval of emotional things coming up, and then the softer waves will come in to help clear that out and clear that out before another bigger wave will come in. But the bigger waves will not be as impactful if you are doing your work. And at this point, most of the human race will be on the same page with the things that have been exposed and the things that they are dealing with. So the things that are coming in, the bigger waves that are coming in, will, in the masses, will not seem as difficult. Because as we want to remind you, for each and every one of you, each and every soul out there that has learned how to forgive and has learned how to do this process, has brought themselves from really horribly difficult lives into a place where you're watching a video like this, or you're coming from the heart and wanting to help the planet and help heal. You are putting all of that into the collective consciousness. You are putting all of this beautiful love and compassion into the collective consciousness. And the more that we can ask you to do that with intention, to send love into the collective consciousness, that means the greater population has access to that program, to that code, to that frequency. And they can then integrate that into their own healing and into their own process of moving out the information and moving into forgiveness.
Interesting. Thank you for that. So when we hear about certain politicians doing wrongdoings and certain crimes, it's best to learn how to forgive them than to be angry and upset with them.
That would be what we would recommend, but we do understand that is a big task to ask. There will be the moments of moving through the emotions. We are not asking you to deny your emotions. Have your emotions, have your feelings around that, and then move yourself into a place as best you can to move out of the anger. And there will be things to be angry about. There has been some very bad things happening that will come to light. And we will be doing what we can from our end to bring in the frequencies to support you to move through this.
Interesting. It almost sounds like when you said earlier to focus on yourself and not all that stuff that's going on.
Yes.
Like the news and stuff.
We do highly recommend you shut the news off. You don't have to stay uninformed, but please do not let the constant invasion of that information to come in. You have to have yourself disconnected to some degree so that you are able to bring in and recharge your energy and stay in a place of peace. It is not an easy thing to watch the news these days and stay in that space of peace. So we would like you to monitor how much of that you take in.
Okay. Well, here's a fun question I always like to ask. And it deals with, I know we've been talking about many things like the 5D Earth, the shift, the event, and so on, but is there any subjects or topics that you wish that we would talk about, or like, I wish somebody would ask a certain question about a certain thing? Is there anything like that?
Let us see if there's anyone out there that would like to give information on something you haven't asked. It does seem that there is one that would like to talk about. Let's move this in. We would like to talk to you about using more of the sacred geometry. We would like to talk to you about how your own mind can create so much, and that you are creating energy in every thought. You are creating energy in every motion, even this motion right here where we wave the hands. This is creating energy. This is creating sacred geometry. And we want you to play with that in your minds. We want you to play with different ways of moving energy, because everyone has been so focused on what is going on with the planet. Let's see, are we moved over to that fifth dimension yet? Well, let's just play where we are. Let's play where we are. Let's move around with energy, and let's see when we focus our intention and create that energy ball, and we move that energy ball around, and you move your hands out and then you move them in. You can see your hands want to stop, and you have created this energy right here. And then you can set a beautiful intention for this energy and then move it into yourself, or move it into a friend with their permission, of course. And then you make some more energy. And we want you to start playing with the energy and start setting beautiful intentions. And maybe you make those beautiful energy balls, and your intention is to set it into the collective, much like we were speaking earlier, moving that intention of love, of healing into the collective. Maybe you're going to make that energy ball, and you're going to make it all about love and compassion and beauty, and you're going to send it to the political parties that you really would like to see change. So play with the energy. Play with the energy. Set the beautiful intentions. Always come from love. That is always our message. Always come from love. Set the intention of love. Send it to wherever you want to send it to. Yes, you could send it to the president. You could send it to whatever political person you want to. You can send it to a church. You can send it to, the Pope. Wherever you want to send it, but send it with love. Send it to the planet. Send it to the collective. Send it to your neighbor. Wherever it is. That is what we want to ask you to do. Play with the energy, much like you would prayer. Going into prayer, setting a beautiful intention, and then send that energy bubble out. That is what we would like to leave you with there.
Interesting. So how do you make this energy ball? Is this, you do this in a meditation, or do you do this just in your mind? You can just be sitting somewhere and just do it, or you have to be in a deep meditation to make this happen?
You can do this anywhere. There are many of you that have already practiced energy work, like Reiki or any of those other modalities. You are a natural healer. Your energy is naturally healing. If you want to play with the ball with your hands, you can do that. If you want to set the intention with your third eye in your mind and see it and then send it, that is also a way that it works. You can set the intention to bring in. Now remember, you are working with other people's free will, so you do have to ask permission to send. Or you can send the bubble out, and then they have the free will to accept it and receive it, or just let it hover. But what we say to you, this one here, at one point went to a post office where there was a child that was screaming and hanging on her mother's leg. And she said, I wonder if I put a grounding rod right here next to this child, if it's going to help. And in her mind's eye, she imagined this beam of light coming into the post office right next to the child. Now, she didn't invade that child's free will, because she did not enforce that and put the energy on the child, but put it right next to the child. And within the next 30 seconds, the child quit screaming and quit hanging on the mother and just started to stand there and behave. These are things that you guys can play with. These are intentions that you can set, because it came from a place of love. And when you come from a place of love, you can do magical things on this planet. You have the earth grid to work with. Very much so. There are energetic lines throughout the planet. You have the collective consciousness. Everything around you is energy. You are the alchemist. You are the magician. Start playing with the energy. Start playing with intention, with energy, and see if it starts to change the things that are happening around you. See if it is starting to change the way people are responding to you. That is a fun thing to do, is it not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that energy rod, the grounding, that
Mm-hmm.
came in very handy, I'm sure.
Yes, we'll have lots of energy rods going on now throughout the planet as everyone's going, screaming child, energy, grounding pole. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that is what we would like to invite you to do. Start playing with where you are now. Let's stop worrying about when is the shift happening, although that is fun to look at too.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start playing with what we can do now because you are already accessing so much magic. Start playing with it. Know that you can. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I like it. Is there any, you mentioned sacred geometry. We talked about the energy ball, the grounding rod. Is there any, I'm pretty sure there's many of them. Is there another example?
There are many of them, and we would encourage you to go to the one that you are drawn to. If there is some sacred geometry, you can look it up on your phone, you can look it up on your computer, or you can just look around you and see if there's any shapes that really draw you in. And we say if that happens, if you are drawn to a certain shape, just work with the energy of that shape for that day. And just, we had talked about crop circles and all kinds of different things, and lots of different sacred geometry going on in those. So if you are looking for something like that, maybe go to the crop circles and look at those different shapes that are forming in there and start playing with that. But we do just ask you to just go with what you feel called to. Each and every person listening may have a different image in their mind of what would work for them.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Is there any messages for the YouTube collective by any chance? Doesn't have to be about the 5D or energy, anything like that. Is there any messages from any councils by any chance?
There are a few of you that have been activated already through watching the videos, and not just this video, but other videos like this. We ask you, there is fear around coming forward. There are some of you that are already speaking in either the light language or through the channels and are having a harder time being open about that. And it is okay. We understand not everybody wants to be on a video or out in the public, but we do ask you that if your heart is calling you to do something with it, to give a message to another, or to maybe bring an activation for another person, to please listen to your heart and follow the heart coming from love. If this rings true for you, we're asking you to please consider giving the message or sharing the energy and bringing in the activation for another, because it is very important for everyone on the planet to move into their awakening. And we are so grateful for you for all of the work that you do and the activations you bring in when you share your stories and you help somebody else to understand that they are going through something very similar, and now they can understand it and they can make sense of it and they can have a peace of mind around it. So it could be a very important story to share. And if you are feeling pulled to do that, we ask you, please go forward and do that. Share your stories.
When you saying share your story, like if they had a certain experience, a certain vision, those type of stories?
Yes, it could be a very simple story that maybe is still on the ascension spectrum, or it could be something very big. Some people have had near-death experiences and have had very profound connection with source energy, and those are the kind of stories that would be very beneficial to share. And yet they could be as simple as synchronicity, lining you up with the perfect person. I ended up sitting in a cafe and this person came and sat right next to me. And next thing I know, I have a new job and it's paying me twice as much, even something like that. is a very big story of ascension, because it is showing how this person moved out of something that wasn't working, and the universe lined them up synchronistically with something that was a much better fit for them. And it could encourage another person to call that into their energy. So share your stories. Share your stories of synchronicity. Share your stories of healing. Share your stories of enlightenment. Share your stories of meditations, and share your stories. We could go on and on. You understand.
Yes, I do.
Everyone has a beautiful story. It would be wonderful for them to share it.
Absolutely. It's good to get the information out there. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I showed Tracie some pictures, some emails that came over, and it looked like light language drawings, but I just wanted to get your perspective on it. If there's any type of information, we don't have to go into details with it, but I just wanted to get your perspective of those drawings, those images.
These are very powerful galactic translations into a written form for all to see. You will be sharing those. It is lining up for you to do so. There will be much shared about that in the near future. We do believe there will be more pictures to be added to that collection you have. Mm-hmm. And they will be explained in the future at the later date. There's not enough information at this time to do justice for the beautiful pictures that you are speaking of.
Okay. Absolutely, I understand. But this is part of light language, and it's part of a galactic message.
It is. And it is going to be very important to note that if you are drawn to watch the video with these pictures in it, that there is a message in that video for you. In reality, the video has already happened. And we say
to know
that when you are watching this video, that appears to not be made yet. When you are watching this video, if you are drawn to this video, pay close attention. There will be messages, and there will be visual cues for you by looking at these pictures that will be activators for you. You will know who you are when you are watching the video. You will know your message when you are watching the video. It is going to be an important video to put out.
Thank you for that. I just want to make sure it's these images are safe and these images are good. And you already answered one of my other questions. It does deal with activation and ascension.
Yes.
Perfect. Yes. Okay. Well, I think that's it. And would we be talking to you about these drawings, or is it a different council that we have to communicate with?
We will be communicating with the Council of the Artist.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes.
All right. At the moment, I don't have any more questions unless there's anything else you would like to add. But I think we touched base on a lot of interesting subjects.
Yes, it's been a very good talk today. We thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fun to know that we already made the video. Like, okay.
I'm excited now.
Yeah, and it feels like there might be 2 more maps that he's going to bring into it before we arrange for that video. But there's something to the sequence, at least in the first 2, the circular ones. There's something in that sequence that is an activator.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. That's kind of what I was seeing when they were talking about it. So yeah, we'll need to get that set up.
Will do. Absolutely. I guess it would be okay just for me to show one image just to the viewers so they can have an idea of what we're talking about.
I think so. And in fact, that was one of the things that was in my mind when you were saying that. I was seeing like even you could take all of them and just line them up there and like a little,
Yeah,
it wouldn't hurt for people to see them on this video. Yes.
perfect.
And then they'll know if they need to come back for the other video.
Well, if you're watching this video, make sure you subscribe, because there's going to be an awesome video that deals with these drawings that look phenomenal. Look like they're drawn by hand, and I'm going to set something up to where I can get the artist that created these, and it deals with activation, light language, and so on. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I just need to get a hold of this guy.
Well, I think it's already been orchestrated, so I feel pretty good that that's going to happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
So
excited.
we look forward to seeing you guys back here to watch the other video.
Were they showing anything else, any other things off of what we're talking about by any chance? Any other visions?
Remind me what visions.
We talked about longevity, life. We talked about Atlantis.
Oh, with the longevity one, when they were talking about the older people, the skin kind of went to a youthful look, but the hair was still white.
I was thinking that, like, would your hair, I mean, like, how would that work out, you know?
Yeah. So, but the hair looked healthy, and, you know, like sometimes when you get older, your hair gets thinner or whatever. No, it looked like thick, healthy hair, but it was white. And then the skin was youthful. It was actually very pretty. You know, it's like I'm seeing this woman who's an older woman, and her skin tightened up, and even, like, you know, we'll get kind of wrinkly up through the neck and chest and stuff. And all of that just firmed up and tightened up. The muscle structure came back.
Wow.
It was kind of cool to watch that transformation, but the hair stayed white. And I was like, well, that's interesting. The hair stays white. Maybe that makes sense. So
I did have an image, like, when I was thinking about it, not today, but when I was thinking about that question, I was like, well, you know, if we look younger, I guess we'll still have white hair, or would we not?
Yeah, you'd still know who the elders are.
Right.
Have white hair, unless they color it. But yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's kind of an exciting thing, because it didn't have the feel of creaky bones and arthritis and aches and pains. It had the feel of still a youthful person.
Yeah.
And more kind of just more like, you know, you start getting tired and ready to check out, versus illness and, you know, different things like that. But
I understand.
Yeah, it's cool.
Was there any other visions when we started talking about the 6D and the other dimensions by any chance?
The 6D just looked like an energy. I could see what they meant.
Like an energy room?
Yeah, because, you know, it's the same. It's like when we meditate and we rise out of our bodies and we're having that experience. We're not in our body. We're not our physical body sitting in our chair at home or whatever. And we're out astro traveling and doing whatever. It was kind of the same thing. That's why they were saying if you left the, you know, if you passed away from the fifth dimension and then reincarnated, you're going to have a different experience. Like if you're an 11th dimensional being, you are going to have form. But if you are meditating in a fifth dimension and visiting 11th dimension, you're going to be an energy body. I guess is how I would say that. So
interesting.
Yeah. And who knows if I'm interpreting any of that right, but that's the imagery that comes in for me. So that's important to say to the audience too. These are all my interpretations of
right.
You know, explaining that. And yeah.
Well, it's going through your
filters,
filters, your mind, your knowledge, your experience, and so on.
Yeah. So very true.
That's pretty good. Another thing I would like to add, we do have a question later on. We will get to your question she's a loyal fan of ours. And
Yay, loyal fan. Mwah.
Her name is Fox Mama, and I think it's
of course
821 or something like that. And we'll get to your question, and it dealt with ETs, and it's a very important question. So, but we had to wrap up some of this 5D stuff and some other statements as well. But thank you for the questions y'all have been sending us, and the love, the comments, the
Mm-hmm.
the hearts and so on. So it means a lot to us. And Tracie was very excited to see the comments, the love,
I was, yeah.
yous and everything. So
Yeah.
like she said, it's a lot to put yourself out there and so on,
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I love having Jason be my filter. He's like, yeah, go look at them. They're really good. But yeah, I made the mistake early on of reading a comment that kind of, somebody was coming from an angry place and that affected me. And so, yeah, so Jason's been reading the comments first, everybody, and then he lets me know. Come take a look. They're awesome. And yes, thank you, everyone. That's meant the world to me to see the love and support.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't usually let the negative comments go through. So I'll respond to them, but if it gets too negative or too bad, I just take them off. So
yeah. Well, there's no point, you guys. If you don't resonate with it, just move on. It's just silly. It's more of a reflection of where you're at with your vibrations. So please just either come from love or go find someone you do resonate with, and that's okay.
Absolutely. So. And but thank you for the comments, the love and everything. And it's much appreciated. And don't forget to share this video. So help us share it.
Yeah.
Help us get the word out there and so on. So, because especially the next video it deals with activation. So these videos are helping a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those maps are going to be pretty big. That'll be fun. You'll see it when you're looking at this and he puts them on there. You're going to be I want to hear more about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
All right. Is there anything else?
No, I think we're good. We'll see you guys next time.
All right. Take care.